Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the MindShare Podcast. I'm David Greenspan, and this is episode number 372. So, last week we talked about clearing your head, getting the noise out, getting your thoughts organized, creating mental space so you can actually focus again. Well, today's about taking that next step, because the reality is, a clear head doesn't pay your bills. It's the action we take that does. And right now, something I'm seeing consistently across the board, people seem, and like we're talking right off the top of the year, but people seem to be working, people seem to be busy, people seem to have these days that are just loaded with all sorts to do, but pipeline just isn't filling up as quick as people want it to. So this episode right here, what I want to do is I want to talk about why so many people stay broke. So many people stay stressed. So many people stay stuck. And I know I chuckled when I said that. It's actually a very serious matter. And why this happens, even though people are feeling like, like we're grinding and like we're doing so much in a day. And of course, we're going to, talk about what action looks like as well, right? Look, this isn't just about like effort. This is about actually having your direction, where you want to go. So let's go. We know that most people don't wake up trying to waste their day, right? Nobody gets up and says like, okay, like whatever, I'm not going to do anything today. Most people actually wake up with good intentions. Everybody knows kind of what they want to do, but then the day starts, or maybe they don't even know what they want to do. They just kind of like, I'm getting up and I know I have to work, or I know I have to, be a parent, or I have to be a parent and I have to work, or I have to be a parent, a spouse, and a worker. Like, you get it. But then the day starts. We got to deal with the house. And I hear people who have, getting up in the morning and getting breakfast ready for the kids and doing chores around the house. And like, it's normal. So we got the house, we got the kids, we got the chores. Then there's the emails and there's the text messages. Of course, everybody's checking social media for some crazy reason first thing in the morning. We got clients we want to get back to. Then all of a sudden we got the kids again. Then like there's more social media for some reason. Maybe a couple meetings. And a whole bunch of random fires. And before you know it, boom, it's 6 p.m. You're exhausted. But nothing meaningful actually moved forward. Or maybe it just didn't feel like it did. But all of that is what we call reaction mode, right? Being reactive as opposed to being proactive about your day. Allowing everything that comes up to just kind of happen when it happens. And, because it's in front of your face and because there really wasn't a game plan or there wasn't a roadmap for what needed to be done, we just do kind of what's there. We do what comes to mind. We do what's in front of us right then and there. But the problem with that, when everything feels like it's just got to be done in the moment, it's urgent, nothing actually gets prioritized. There's not a proper time block for it. We don't know what time it's supposed to happen. We don't know exactly what's going to happen next, and we don't know how long we're going to do it for. And that right there is when we don't hit our goals. So when we don't feel good, because this is what it leads to, we don't feel good about our business. We don't feel good about ourselves. And then what ends up happening is we just default to whatever feels like it's, sort of useful in the moment. And again, things like going out and, I see notifications pop up. What am I doing? I just start answering emails because the emails came in. Or I realize that my desk is messy. Or, I've got to start organizing files. Maybe I'm looking through, updates on stuff and seeing what's happening in the market because, it's just, hey, if I look and I just start scrolling, it's going to feel like I'm doing something. And meanwhile, I'm checking random notifications because, randomly, everything just randomly comes through at any given moment. And I've said this so many times before, I believe these phones are programmed that when we haven't picked them up at a certain period of time, they're programmed to go off, to pull us back in. And you know what? And I know it. But you go to check that one notification, and all of a sudden you're looking at all the notifications. Then all of a sudden you see the squirrel, and you start chasing it. Defaulting to just, changing up social media posts or scrolling through social media or looking at your own social media for some god-awful period of time for what? And then meetings, like, lunch meetings, going out with people for coffees. Like, if there's no purpose for the meeting, and don't get me wrong, I think it's important to get together with people. We talk about the 7 ways to communicate. In person is one of them. But if there's no purpose, what's the purpose? Like, was it just to go catch up with somebody? Was it to have that lunch? Was it to have that coffee? Or was it to talk business? And I ask you, was it the best use of time in that day at that moment? Now, I'm not trying to say let's not have the joy of getting together with friends and catching up with people and having those nice moments where it's not necessarily business. What I am saying, though, is if you've got that roadmap for your day and you've actually got the discipline with the structure to the day, you may just realize that that lunch or that coffee, that random one, that wasn't about business in that moment, that may not have been the right time to have that meeting. Maybe it would have been better served on an evening. Maybe it would have been better served on a weekend. Maybe if that was the moment, it was carved out so well that all the other moments in your week made up for the maybe lack or loss of productivity in those few hours you spent at lunch. Look, we make things feel like work. We tell our minds that it's work. But oftentimes, so much of what gets done is not actually income-producing work. We didn't actually move the business forward. We just kind of stayed busy inside of it. And while busy can feel productive, right up until the bank account starts to tell you that it's not. Right up until the bills come in and tell you that it's not. See, most people are running through their days pretending to run a business, but they're not actually running a business. I mean, look, if you don't decide what wins your day before the day starts, just like I said a second ago, the day's going to decide for you. And most agents in this business and most people in life are just letting it happen. Like, most people in general let it happen. The thing is, there's a lot of people out there that have these, like, cozy 9-to-5 jobs where they work 40 hours a week and, get paid for it, whether they sort of put in 100% effort or not. They've got the regular routine of, like, getting up in the morning, driving to work and, having lunch and, recess at the same time and then leaving there and coming home at the exact same time in the same traffic every single day. And I mean, like, they're comfy. But if you're owning your own business, there is nothing comfy about it. If all the responsibility is on you, there's nothing comfy about it. Now, let's be clear. It paints a ton of opportunity. Tons of opportunity. And quite frankly, I got to tell you, I'm not a 9-to-5-er. I never have been. I never will be. It's just not who I am. It's not how I'm built. I go out and I hunt every single day. But that comes back to my comment of, if you don't decide what wins the day before it starts, it's going to decide for you. So as most people are doing this, it's like, wake up, get up, just start doing things, hope that, like, the things I do are really going to work. But there is no actual structure to the day. There's no scoreboard that's actually tracking whether or not you're accomplishing or not accomplishing, so you know if you're winning or you're not winning. I mean, that's why they've got scoreboards in sports, so you can tell, did I score goals, did I not? Which team is winning? And there's no intentional block of time for specifically, and this right here, you got to pick up on this one. You got to think about this one in your mind to your day right now. There's no intentional block of time for income-producing activities like generating revenue. Scrolling social, checking notifications, random emails, chores at home, prepping lunch for the kids. I mean, I get that it's going to get done, but it's not the income-producing, revenue-generating activities. But as all that stuff fills up, we feel busy. But again, the pipeline doesn't. And this is where things start to get real interesting, okay? See, if you ask most agents, if you ask most business owners, like, how do you generate revenue? What do you actually do? And, like, we're not talking, like, philosophically, right? Like, I'm talking literally. Like, what actions are producing income on a regular basis for you? Most people can't answer it. People say things like, oh, referrals, and, they scream out like social media, which I beg to differ. I would argue it. I would say that 9 out of 10 people will tell you it's not social. But people say social. People will say, oh, word of mouth I get business from, or, past clients I get business from. But that's not the answer. That's just a category. And revenue isn't coming from your categories. Revenue is coming because of your behaviors. Things like, how many conversations have you had? How many follow-ups have you done? How many appointments have you gone on? How many offers have you presented? Those are actual revenue-generating activities. Those are the real drivers behind what's producing revenue. And so if I asked you right now, and it does depend what time you're listening to this, but what did you do today that directly increased your chances of getting paid in, 30, 60, 90 days? Could you answer that? Most people can't. And again, this is where people get really frustrated. They think to themselves, but I worked all week. Why don't I see the results? Because effort without focus, it just doesn't compound. It just repeats. And the thing about that is, if you're working hard but you're going in the wrong direction, you ain't winning the game. You're going to lose. If I got to go there right now, because it is winter time, and we are, in the midst of the Milano Cortina Olympics here. Cortina, did I pronounce that properly? But here in 2026. And of course, the NHL is finally back in the Olympics, and that's an exciting thing here. So we got Team Canada starting very short. Well, we've got Team Canada that's now started, I guess, once you listen to this. First game played, and we've got a good matchup coming. But anyways, Dave, why are you talking about this? Look, I want to use this like hockey analogy and go, if you're playing and you're skating real hard all game, but you're in the wrong zone, it really doesn't matter how hard you skated. Right? You're not going to win just because you worked hard. You're going to win because your effort was pointed at the right net. You were in the right zone. And there's no difference than in business. People exhaust themselves. Have I said before that I think that these smartphones are stupid distraction devices that just exhaust people? I think I probably have, maybe once or twice. But seriously, people exhaust themselves doing like admin stuff. And again, I don't want to say that this stuff doesn't have to happen. But when we believe that things like admin and cleaning things up and preparing for things and organizing things and learning new things and planning new things is the ultimate part of our revenue generation. Look, I don't want to discount the planning part that I just said or the preparation part. I don't. And quite frankly, I love being an organized person, and I do feed my brain every single day. But what happens is, by doing all of that, the days get filled up, and then people avoid actually doing the outreach they got to do and the follow-ups they got to do and having the uncomfortable conversations with people. Sometimes you got to pick up that phone, you got to talk to somebody, you got to figure out how to muster up the energy and the conversation to build the mindshare. It happens. And sometimes people are not going to reciprocate, and sometimes those conversations are going to feel a little bit awkward, but you know what? Getting through that one sets you up for the next one. But if you don't have the uncomfortable conversation, then there's no opportunity to get the business. I mean, that's really, if you're not even going to have the conversations, how are you ever going to ask for the business? But it needs to be done. You've got to ask. If you don't ask, you're missing opportunities. And of course, a lot of people avoid just plain out building mindshare. Oh, I don't know what to say on social. I don't know what to say in my email. I really am not comfortable on video. I mean, we need consistency. Consistency. And look, we are on episode number 372 of the MindShare Podcast right now. And quite frankly, we're still making adjustments. We're still learning. This is season 8. I mean, I know this show has been absolutely perfect for 372 episodes, but you know what? we're still trying to get better. Come on, who are we bullshitting here? We're learning something new every day. There's better ways to do things. And until we do things, we don't realize the better way to do the things and what things could be better. You know what I mean? It's like we got to do things, but we got to do things that are income producing, not just busy. So you can't avoid connecting with people. You can't avoid building MindShare in replacement of scrolling notifications, checking emails, and bumbling around your desk. Like, you want to score? You want to win the game? You've got to talk to people. You've got to build MindShare. Everything else we do, it's simply a warm-up. And what most people don't like to hear is that if your income isn't feeling really stable right now, it's because you're being lazy. You're making excuses. You're procrastinating. It's because your revenue-producing actions are completely inconsistent. And let's call a spade here. It's not because of the market. Because if your entire success rides on the market, then it means that when the market is good, you're winning. But when the market is bad, you're losing. It means you haven't got the right setup for your business. See, a strong, resilient business is going to have the ability to push through any storm. I'm not saying that in a down market we're going to see less volume. Of course we are. But what I am saying, that the resiliency, the ability to push through, the ability to still find a way to find a level of success that you want to achieve, even if it's not the ultimate level that you wanted to get this year, because of some of the outside factors, the ability to have that opportunity for yourself is what you create for you. Being passive about it isn't going to do it. Being reactive about it, it's not going to do it. Doing what other people are doing in the moment is not going to do it. So you can't blame the market. You can't blame the rates. You can't blame the economy. You've got to be doing those, what we'll call boring fundamentals. You've got to be doing them consistently. Now, we've had a number of events already to start the year, which has been absolutely amazing. We've been able to connect with a lot of different people and help a lot of different people get to a different level in their business, in their mindset off the top of the year, which has been fantastic. And we just built something for another group that I was doing a business planning session for the other day. And quite frankly, real easy. I mean, you could say it's a little uncomfortable maybe for some, but it definitely works. And like the simplicity to it is that, you know, having a framework for what the day looks like every single day, I'll tell you, your business comes down to these three things, period. 1, conversations. Okay, so like simplicity here. How many conversations are you having? How many people are you actually talking to? And I'm not talking about the one-to-many message that you sent out on social or the one-to-many message even in the email. And don't get me wrong, they're part of the MindShare build, but I'm talking legit conversations. How many have you had? Every day you got to have them. Follow-ups. There's people you spoke to last week. There's people you spoke to last month. There's people you spoke to last year. Call them again. Connect with them again. Continue to stay in touch with them. At some point, something happens. And the more of those conversations you have and the more follow-ups you do to have those conversations, the more opportunity you create. And the third one here is visibility, otherwise known as building MindShare. Every day, if you're focused on conversations, every day if you're focused on follow-ups, and every day if you're focused on building MindShare to create new opportunities, that's it. It's not about making like mini tweaks to the CRM or looking at your logo to see if you need to update it or watching reels or checking notifications every 2 seconds. We're talking literally conversations, follow-ups, and MindShare. If those three things are happening consistently, your business moves forward. If they aren't happening, it doesn't move forward. Pretty simple. See, everything else we do in a day, secondary. And where most people lie to themselves, again, we talk about most people, but they start to substitute like different activities for what they say would be progress, but it's not. Or they'll spend 2 hours organizing, again, those files instead of making, 5 or 10 phone calls, simply out of procrastination. The fact that they don't want to. They don't know what to say. They're not prepared. It feels awkward. I mean, I've heard all the excuses in the world a million times before, and I understand they're legitimate excuses. I don't know what to say. I feel awkward. I don't want to sound salesy. Cool. But we got to get past it. Because that, I don't want to feel, it's not going to get you the deal. Tweaking a post on social instead of booking a meeting. Staying this version of busy instead of actually getting uncomfortable and getting on the phone. Spending more time on social than we do on phone calls and having real conversations. It's not strategy. It's literally avoidance. And it's like it's dressed up as work. Let's take a quick commercial break here. This episode is brought to you by Kits Keep in Touch Systems, built to keep you top of mind and connected consistently to your main pipeline and new opportunities, especially when your head is full and you don't feel like you're really getting where you want to. If you sell real estate, bottom line, you need kits. And REM Real Estate Magazine for real estate commentary and perspective in an industry that often defaults to noise. Make sure you're connected with both of these industry-leading brands. Okay. Let's get back to this here. We've always got to fit in the sponsors, right? Look, I want to say this isn't motivation. I mean, it's always supposed to be a dose of motivation for sure. You're supposed to feel fired up and like you want to do something. So I definitely want to say that. Moreover, I want to say this is math. It's numbers. So let's put some numbers to this. Say your average commission is $10K and you want to make $200K this year. 20 deals. And we're being conservative here, okay? If it takes you 10 listings or buyer appointments to close 2 deals, we need 100 appointments. Now, if we spread that over 50 weeks, that's 2 appointments per week. And if it takes roughly, say, 10 real conversations to book an appointment, you need about 20 real conversations. So that breaks down to about 4 per day. That's it. This wasn't meant to be this big inspirational thing. It's just arithmetic. It's numbers. But most agents aren't operating this way. Again, we're looking at income goals and never reverse engineering the daily behavior. In fact, this is exactly what we talked to at a business planning session the other day, because somebody had said to me prior to that session, said, it's real nice to sit down at a business planning session, write down goals, and they tell you, write down how much you want to make this year, and you write it down, and then they just keep moving. It's but how? How do you actually achieve it? How do you actually bring the number to life? He's like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I really want to walk away with. And of course, that's exactly what we gave him and the entire group of people that were there that day. We took the income goal and we reverse engineered the daily behavior. And now, as long as you operate, you're good. But again, most agents don't operate this way. And that's where the pressure starts. Professionals don't guess. Top producers don't guess. Businesses at the highest level, corporations, they don't guess. Amazon doesn't guess. They run numbers and then they execute. There's a plan. You just have to actually action the plan. But of course, most people, they avoid the revenue, the income-producing activities, the work. And so that's a big part of today's message of what we're doing here is trying to call this out. We avoid these income-producing activities, these actions. I guess, you could say, rejection? People are scared of rejection. I don't want to feel rejected. It feels really personal. And, it does. It does, especially when you run your own business and people don't hire you. It's not easy to think that it's not because of you. Full transparency. Every time we vie, we put our hand up to be at a conference or, we make a sales call and people turn us down. I mean, we are the MindShare, right? You, me, the entire team here, we're all the MindShare. But when you think about the brand, MindShare 101, I mean, I guess, yeah, you probably think of me, David Greenspan. You think about my face. Think about me, like the person. And of course, I started the thing. Now, the fact that I got you and everybody else here, that's what actually makes it live and breathe, and that's what gives it a pulse. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for my amazing team. I'm grateful for all the opportunities we've had so far and all the ones that are coming. But of course, when they don't come, it's, sure, I'm going to look in the mirror and go, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I say? I must have said something, even though there's no way I would ever say anything to rub anybody the wrong way. It's not my style. So, we're having some fun with the microphone today. But seriously, rejection does feel personal. It's normal. I get it. But we can't let it stop us from doing the IPAs, the income-producing activities. We can't. If you're looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, you want to make a certain amount of money, you want to have a certain amount of vacations, you want to live a certain type of life, you got to get past that feeling of taking it too personally. This is business. Treat it as such. Like I said before, it feels awkward. I don't know what to say. I'm calling them out of the blue. I haven't spoken to them so long. Should I say sorry? No, you shouldn't say sorry. Just call. Say hi. Hi. How are you? And they respond. They're like, I'm well. How are you? Now you're into a conversation. Now, of course, it goes deeper. Right? When we talk about the conversation and how to have those conversations, and we've gone through strategy many times before, you and I, about what to say, how to say it. And if you're like, oh man, I never picked up on that, then welcome to the MindShare Podcast. You obviously haven't been listening that long, but I am super proud that you're here. I'm happy that you're here. I'm grateful that you're here, and I hope you'll be back next week. I really do. I have that impact on some people. They come once and they're like, nah, there's no shot I'm coming back. But when you lock in. Because this is meant for you. This is not just me and a microphone. This is meant to actually get you moving, to get you to your next level. Okay, so when we think about avoiding the income-producing activities and the fact that rejection feels personal and making the calls and not knowing what to say can kind of feel awkward, the fact that follow-up feels kind of uncomfortable because, again, I don't want to, we're asking people the question, it feels like I'm salesy. Or you go to make the call, you ask the question, the person on the other end gives you a one-word answer, and that whole silence thing, you kind of oh my God, what do I do? So instead, because we don't want all these weird, awkward feelings, because we can't handle that for some reason, sorry, I'm hitting hard right now, really, we got to toughen up here, right? This is sales, this is survival of the fittest, we're talking about being a hunter, not an order taker. We've got to have some toughness to us, right? But because we don't want to do that, we don't want those uncomfortable feelings, we do the safe stuff. We do the easy stuff. We do the busy tasks. The stuff that doesn't challenge us. But like we keep saying here, that ain't going to build your pipeline. Action is going to build your pipeline. So it's not about needing more confidence. Confidence will come after action. It's not going to come before. And the part that most people are really missing is that what we do in January, what we do in February, it doesn't show up immediately. It's not going to come right away. Remember, progress over results. What you do in January, what you do in February is going to show up in March. It's going to show up in April. It's going to show up in May. So if you lean in right now, we're talking right now, your spring market is going to feel a lot more fun. It's going to feel lighter in terms of the fact that you're not going to be as stressed, but it's going to be a lot heavier in the deal department, let's say. Right? Your pipeline's going to be steadier. You're going to be more full. Your confidence, there you go. Your confidence, it's going to build over time because you're doing the right actions and you can feel that there's good things happening. But if you're veering off right now, if you're kind of just kind of loafing, if you're kind of taking it easy, if you're kind of trying to see it's cold, it's dark, the market, blah, 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 whatever. You stay in that mode, spring is going to feel pretty light. And not light in the good way, but light in the bad way, where there aren't enough deals in the pipeline. There's not enough happening. It's going to mess with your head. You're going to start to get even more reactive to what you need to do in a day, and then that pressure is going to begin to compound, and that compound effect, it's going to lead to stress and negativity, lack of focus, distraction, feeling down on yourself. Look, nobody wakes up in the spring market with a full pipeline by accident. It's not like, all of a sudden spring came around and because we got this big lineup, you're the one getting all the business just because, you exist. It's what you do now. It's what you do when things feel darker, feel colder, feel tougher. That discipline that you put into your everyday, that's what matters right now. Stop waiting, for this. Stop waiting for this big message to fly in the sky like the bat signal to go, okay, it's go time. We got to start building it now. Too many people are just waiting to feel ready, waiting for it to be perfect. But again, ready doesn't come first, action does. I keep saying that. Action, action, action. Did I say that yet? Clarity follows movement. The movement is the action. So the reality is, again, if you're feeling the overwhelm right now, if you're feeling the quietness right now, if you're feeling like you're stressed because the pipeline isn't so full, it's because too much is floating around in that head of yours. Write that shit down. Pen to paper. Get it out of your head. Be able to compartmentalize it. Understand what's going on, what needs to be done, what is stressing you out. See, if you're not focused in your day, and you can't focus in a day, it's simple and plain. You just haven't chosen what wins the day. So I'm encouraging you right now, choose. Make the choice. I've already given it to you today. I told you the actions that need to be done, and it's not a lot. If you spent a couple hours in your day, an hour doing follow-ups, an hour doing prospecting, you're already winning. But you got to get past the uncomfortable feelings, right? And that's exactly it. If you're feeling that right now, it's because you're avoiding the uncomfortable move. You know it and I know it. You're just avoiding it. But I need you to make it. You need you to make it. This isn't some big breakthrough. This is about structure. Your structure. So here, action step, right? Because we always do that. We got to make sure we walk away with this thing. We walk away from this time that we spent here and you go, I know what to do next. I already told you earlier on when it came to what you want to be doing, this daily sequence that you should be doing, it involved conversations, it involved follow-ups, it involved building MindShare. Okay, don't overcomplicate that. So here's what I want. I also want you to write down, okay? And it's real easy. It's simple. First, write down 3 actions that actually lead income into your business. Hint, hint. I just gave them to you a second ago. Okay, so those 3 actions, write them down. Make sure they're written down. Don't, yeah, I know. You know how many people say, yeah, I know, and then they tell you the next time, yeah, I know, and then they tell you the next time, yeah, I know, and you're sitting there going, we keep having this conversation. If you know, why haven't you done anything? So write down those 3 actions. Don't just say, I know, write them down. 2, block time for them before anything else gets scheduled. Okay, so when you look at your schedule for the next day and you're planning ahead so that you have that game plan, the scoreboard, map those in first. I get it. The breakfast need to be done. The chores need to be done. The email needs to be done. Okay, cool. I got it. Block those 3 things first. Figure out where those 3 things fit. If you need to put the breakfast in there and getting the kids to school before that, I get it. But I want you to put these things into the calendar first. This way you could see them and these are my priorities. And this way we're going to build up the habit that every day when you go and repeat the process, because you got this plan, you start to build in the habit that these are the first things that go in. And now we're going to trigger the subconscious to say, I know what the most important things in my day are. Okay, the third thing is track them daily. Track them daily. First and foremost, a real simple yes or no. Did I do them? Did I not? Just start there. Again, the more we're tracking them, the scoreboard, the more we're seeing what we're accomplishing. Are we winning the game? And again, the more we're going to trigger that subconscious to build out the right habit so we get the reward we ultimately want. And the fourth thing I want you to do here is at the end of every day, just simply ask yourself, did I move closer to getting paid? Again, a yes or no. Simple. See, when you actually write this down, and most people, again, are going to be scared to write it down because they're going to realize that a lot of times at the end of the day, it's going to say no. The goal? The goal is to change that to get as many yeses as we possibly can. And the more you get in the yeses, the more you're going to feel the confidence, because the more the pipeline is going to be full, the better you're going to feel, the happier you're going to feel, the more fulfilled you're going to feel. And this isn't going to be about, just vibes or even just feelings, but this is going to be actually the fact that you've acknowledged you've taken some revenue generating, revenue producing, income producing activities in your day. That right there is your new scoreboard. Writing down the 3 actions that lead to income, blocking time for them as the priority, tracking them daily, did I do them, yes or no? And at the end of each day, having a real conversation with yourself to ask yourself, did I move my business forward closer to getting paid? When you can see the score, you know whether you're winning. Be real with yourself and track that. See, clearing your head, powerful. But clarity without the execution will still leave you frustrated. So if you want to get that momentum back, if you want to fill that pipeline, if you want to be busy this spring, stop trying to feel productive and start doing the actual actions that pay you. Again, busy doesn't build the business. It's the intentional action that does. I'm David Greenspan, reminding you to build MindShare, because MindShare equals market share. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next week.